Skip it up and that up. So I just made a video discussing how the Nintendo Switch is selling very well and moving units. It has already shipped 1.5 million Nintendo Switches worldwide. Nintendo is expecting the Switch to ship 2 million units by the end of the month, and I see them hitting that number fairly easily, especially since it's only mid-March and they already shipped 1.5 million Switches. So now the Nintendo system is out. It seems to be selling well. There's a high demand for it. Everyone is interested to see what kind of games we're going to see for the Switch. What third-party developers are really going to support the Switch? We saw a whole list. Nintendo showed off a list of a whole bunch of developers, but who's really going to back up Nintendo's hybrid console? Well, Blizzard's Overwatch director, Jeff Kaplan, was talking about the Nintendo Switch, and he really seems to like the system, and this is what he had to say about Nintendo's newest console. I'm loving the Switch. My second favorite gaming platform of all time is the 3DS. Getting Overwatch on the Switch is very challenging for us, but we're always open-minded about exploring possible platforms. Now, that isn't a confirmation in any way, shape, or form that Overwatch is coming to the Switch. But the reason why I wanted to make this video is this is where Nintendo, you need to step in and make sure that Overwatch does come to the Switch. Now, I know concessions are going to need to be made, okay? The Switch is not as powerful as the PS4 and Xbox One. That's pretty much confirmed now. And you know, they're going to have to cut back on visual detail. They're going to have to, you know, carve the game and whittle it down so it could run properly on the Switch hardware. But Nintendo, do you realize that Overwatch back in January of 2017 already sold 25 million copies and it was out just about 7 months at the time? Hasn't even been out a year. And in January, they already had 25 million copies of Overwatch sold. That's insane. The game is blowing up, whether it be on console or PC in the competitive scene. People love Overwatch, and that would be a perfect fit on the Switch. I understand the Switch is not as capable, I just mentioned that. But could you imagine if Overwatch came to the Switch, especially with the design of the Nintendo Switch, how you could have multiple, like 8 Switches connected together, people play competitively, how the Switch could be taken anywhere, and people could play Overwatch on the go. Nintendo, your console would just print money at that point, especially with your first-party IPs and a game like Overwatch on there. And yes, like I understand, like I said, it's not as capable, but I'm sure, especially with the cartoon-style graphics of Overwatch, there's a way that Blizzard, if they tried and they really sat down and dug into the Switch's hardware, that they could get that game maybe slightly watered down to run, but it would still, just because it's Overwatch on the Switch, so long as it ran smooth and properly and it was easy to connect with other players online and get into a good match, it would probably become the preferred platform for playing Overwatch next to the PC. The PC, I think, would still reign supreme, but Nintendo, this is where I want to see you dress up Reggie in a ninja suit, and I want to see him with a hang glider on, flying through one of Blizzard Studios' windows, and just be like, here, how much money you want? What do you want? What do you, like, even if you had to give them like an exclusive deal where you gave them a shit ton of cash, Nintendo, and you only broke even on Overwatch, just think how your install base would grow. People would be like, holy shit, I could take Overwatch with me anywhere, and then I could take it and play it at home using the dock of the Nintendo Switch. Think about it, in the competitive scene, people would just have their Switches with them instead of having to carry around their PC rigs, and they could just whip out their Switch. It still sounds perverted, and I'll never let that go, but they could whip out their Switch and play Overwatch competitively that way. Nintendo, do it, man. Think outside of the, you're seeing a lot of success right now with the Switch, and this would just bring that success to brand new heights, man. This is the kind of game that would work well on your hybrid console. So do what you need to do to get it on there. This is Rich Review Tech USA signing out. Have a good one. Nintendo, listen, please. I'm telling you, just listen to me.